They finally did it, or at least, that's what many people are claiming tonight. Before we begin, here's your hook. What if the moment millions of dinar holders have waited for is actually starting quietly, behind the curtain, with signals instead of statements and whispers instead of confirmations? What if the spark that people call the RV phase has just been lit and the world hasn't caught up yet? In this special extended report, we're breaking down everything you need to know about the alleged contract rate activation, what the data shows, what the rumors claim, and what a realistic, level-headed outlook should be in 2025. Stay with me until the end because what we uncover today could be one of the most important updates for anyone watching the Iraqi dinar story. Today's major headline revolves around a wave of new claims spreading across online communities, financial commentary channels, and currency forums. That something called the RV phase has reportedly begun, and that so-called contract rates are live behind the scenes. These claims have triggered excitement, confusion, and in some cases, total disbelief. Many people want to know whether this is finally the moment where the dinar shifts into a stronger valuation cycle, or if this is yet another round of speculation. In this report, we'll take those claims, break them down carefully, and discuss what is actually reasonable to expect at this stage. Because while the excitement can be infectious, it is even more important to stay grounded, informed, and aware of how currency reform usually unfolds on the world stage. Let's start with the idea of contract rates. This phrase gets used a lot in dinar circles, but it is not a standard term in global finance. It commonly refers to the belief that certain entities, often institutions, programs, or private groups, may get special exchange rates during a revaluation process. These rates, according to the claims, are supposedly higher than public market rates. The new buzz in 2025 is that these contract rates are allegedly live now, being used behind the scenes, signaling the early ignition of the RV sequence. But because this idea circulates informally, not through official financial channels, anyone hearing it needs to ask clear questions. Who is offering these rates, under what rules, and for what purpose? Without clarity, these claims must be treated carefully, because hype often moves faster than reality in the IQD world. A second major discussion point today is the official value of the Iraqi dinar. As of now, the publicly tracked rate has hovered around the same range for months, meaning there has been no publicly announced revaluation. However, what is unusual is the amount of speculation happening this week, based on the idea that the public rate may not show early internal adjustments until a later phase. This theory suggests that if an RV phase has started, the first signs might appear through institutional mechanisms, special conversion programs, or unpublished rate adjustments within certain entities. Whether this is actually happening or not is the big question people are asking, and it's why so many are watching closely. Because in the past, big currency reform steps have sometimes happened quietly before being revealed officially. Now let's talk about Iraq itself in 2025. The country has been trying to navigate economic reforms, reduce dependency on oil, strengthen financial stability, and push digital modernization within its banking sector. Many believe that currency reform is a natural part of this larger restructuring effort, and while it is true that Iraq has signaled long-term goals of strengthening its currency and improving transparency, there has not yet been a formal declaration of an RV. What has fueled speculation, however, is the fact that various government and financial discussions in recent years have emphasized the need for stability, modernization, and better currency management. These bigger reform themes always get people looking for hints and clues, especially when excitement builds around unverified updates claiming major internal actions are happening quietly. For many dinar holders, the key question today is, what happens if these contract rate claims really are true? If a revaluation process is starting in a phased way, it could mean that internal financial systems are preparing for different tiers of conversion. That could involve upgrades to banking systems, staged rollouts, pilot programs, or controlled environments designed to stabilize the currency before releasing broader changes. In scenarios like this, holders often imagine that higher than public rates could be available to certain participants or that a staged RV might eventually lead to a public rate shift later. It's important to stress, however, that these ideas are based on speculation unless officially confirmed. The dinar community has seen many waves of excitement in the past, which makes it vital to stay measured while still acknowledging possibilities. On the other hand, if the contract rate rumors are not true, this moment could simply be another cycle of anticipation. The dinar story is unique because hope tends to surge whenever reform conversations or online chatter intensify. Many people want the RV to happen so badly that every spark becomes a flame in the community. But financial reality moves carefully, especially when it comes to something as impactful as revaluing a national currency. If the current claims turn out to be exaggerated or misinterpreted, it doesn't necessarily mean reforms won't come in the future. It just means this may not be that moment. And that's why maintaining balance, neither blindly believing nor cynically dismissing everything, is the healthiest position for investors or observers. Let's talk about risk for a moment, because this part of the conversation is often overlooked when excitement builds. Keeping dinar as a speculative asset means accepting the possibility that major changes might take far longer than predicted. It also means understanding liquidity challenges, how easy it is to convert the currency at different rates, and whether banks are willing to exchange it at all. Many people who bought dinar years ago were unaware that even if a positive shift occurs, conversion may involve rules, identification processes, limits, or specific financial institutions. Large gains are not guaranteed, and even in revaluation scenarios, access may vary. Thinking through these risks is not meant to discourage interest. It is meant to help people make informed decisions rather than emotional ones. Now let's shift back to the big story today, the rumored activation of RV contract rates. What makes this round of speculation different from older ones is the level of detail people claim to have about timing, institutional involvement, and back-end system changes. According to these discussions, certain programs may be testing rates higher than the public rate, hinting that Iraq could be preparing for a broader adjustment later. Whether or not these claims are accurate is unclear, but what's fascinating is how aligned they are with long-term dinar reform expectations. Many analysts agree that if Iraq ever triggers a revaluation, it will likely begin with controlled steps rather than a sudden, unpredictable jump. That makes today's claims more interesting, even though they remain unverified. Let's consider what a phased RV would actually look like if it were real. First, internal systems would need to be calibrated to handle new values, ensure stability, and prevent fraud. Banks may need to update exchange platforms, test conversion tools, and prepare for increased transactional volume. Governments often run pilot tests before making big public announcements. A tiered approach could also mean different categories of holders experience the changes at different times. Again, we're not saying this is happening, only that if a phased RV model exists, these are the types of steps that usually align with such a structure. That is why some watchers believe the current rumors fit a plausible pattern, even if no official confirmation exists yet. Another angle we need to explore is Iraq's overall economic environment. Over the past several years, the country has worked to build foreign reserves, stabilize inflation, reduce volatility, and regain global financial confidence. These moves all support the long-term idea that Iraq wants a stronger, more globally respected currency. Many believe that economic maturity and reform must come before a revaluation can realistically occur. Some indicators suggest progress, while others show ongoing challenges. That mixed picture makes the timing of an RV difficult to predict, and this is why any claims of a sudden leap in value need to be approached with a blend of hope and caution. Currency reform is not just a switch that can be flipped, it is a structural process. Let's talk about the psychological effect these rumors have. Whenever dinar updates circulate claiming big internal moves, people often react emotionally. Some rush to buy more currency, others panic that they will miss out. Some become overly optimistic while others become skeptical. Emotional swings are common in speculative markets. But the best approach is always patience, verification, and rational analysis. If the RV phase truly has begun, the signs will eventually become clear through official channels. And if it has not begun, people protecting their financial well-being will be grateful they did not make rushed decisions. In uncertain moments like this, emotional stability can be just as important as financial stability. Let's examine what you should realistically watch for in the coming days and weeks. The biggest sign of any real change would be an official announcement from Iraq's central bank or government. They would not revalue quietly forever. Eventually, public clarity must be provided. Next, you should watch for any sudden adjustments in the public exchange rate. If the dinar strengthens significantly, that would be a strong indicator of structural movement. You should also pay attention to financial market reactions, bank memos, or shifts in currency handling procedures. Sometimes large changes reveal themselves through small operational updates first. Being observant and patient is key. Let's take a moment to talk directly to dinar holders. If you currently hold IQD, this is a time to focus on the basics. Know how much you have, know your purchase price, and think realistically about what you would do in different scenarios. If the RV happens suddenly, would you hold or exchange? If it happens gradually, how would you adjust? And if nothing changes this year, how comfortable are you holding your position long term? These are strategic questions that help you stay grounded no matter what happens next. Being prepared is far more valuable than being excited. Now let's address new buyers. If someone is thinking about buying dinar because of the current rumors, the biggest advice is simple. Do not base your decision on hype alone. Look at your total financial picture, your goals, your risk tolerance, and your ability to hold a speculative asset without stress. The dinar has potential, but it is not guaranteed, and the path to revaluation, if it ever comes, may not follow the timing or magnitude that people expect. Speculation should always be a small part of a balanced portfolio, not the heart of it. Let's shift back to the core topic again. The spark that people say has been ignited. What makes this moment so powerful is the combination of timing, discussions, and growing rumors all circulating in the same week. Economic watchers are paying attention because the flow of updates has suddenly intensified. Some believe this means something is happening in the background. Others think it is just another cycle of excitement before everything cools off again. The truth is likely somewhere in the middle. Iraq is working on reforms, and these reforms may eventually include currency adjustments. But no one outside official channels can confirm the status of contract rates or phased RV steps. If you're still watching this report, let's take a moment to acknowledge why the dinar story has held so much attention for so long. It represents possibility, it represents hope for economic transformation. It represents the idea that a country emerging from decades of conflict could rise into a new era of financial strength. People who follow this journey are not just waiting for a rate change, they are watching a national recovery story unfold. That emotional connection is powerful, and it's part of why the community reacts so strongly whenever fresh RV rumors appear. As we continue, let's explore the idea of timing. If the RV phase ever becomes official, what year would make the most sense? Some believe 2025 is a strong possibility because Iraq has been quietly modernizing its systems, refining its monetary framework, and building reserves. Others argue that more structural work is needed before any major currency shift can occur. Timing is always the hardest thing to predict in these situations. Even governments themselves sometimes adjust timelines due to economic pressure or regional events. So while many people feel that something is brewing in 2025, no one can say for sure when or how the RV would officially activate. We also need to talk about the global context. The world economy is shifting. Technological systems are evolving, countries are reassessing their financial positions, and digital currency is gaining more influence each year. Iraq is watching these changes and adapting. A stronger currency could help attract investment, support growth, and stabilize the country internally. Whether or not the current rumors reflect reality, it is true that Iraq eventually wants a currency that reflects its long-term economic potential. Understanding that big picture helps put today's speculation into perspective. As we approach the closing segments of this report, let's evaluate the two biggest possibilities right now. Either the contract rate activation is real, or it is another speculative cycle. If it is real, then we may be witnessing the earliest stages of a major economic shift that will become clearer in coming weeks or months. If it is not real, then this moment is simply another reminder to stay cautious and patient. Either way, the smart response is the same: stay informed, stay realistic, and avoid emotional decision-making. Finally, let's wrap up with a grounded conclusion. The phrase, "they finally did it," is circulating everywhere today, but until official confirmation arrives, the only thing truly confirmed is that speculation is alive and active. The spark may be real, or it may be imaginary. But what is real is the importance of preparing, staying level-headed, and making decisions based on facts rather than excitement. If the RV phase does ignite, the impact could be historic. If it doesn't, life continues and opportunities will still exist in the future. So stay alert, stay smart, and keep watching closely, because whatever happens next, you'll want to be informed when the real news breaks.